Hello, and we have started live on the conversation here. I know we've all been talking about things or some stuff while we were just preparing ourselves for the podcast here, and I forgot to copy and paste you guys some of the main topics that we wanted to go through, or that I would actually absolutely love to go through. So for now, I want to do an introduction, starting with Alpha Tim. Let us know who you are, and obviously this is a TBD team. So tell us something about yourself, Alpha Tim.
Um, I've been playing the league for about 6 or 7 years. I love keep locking it down, keeping it up, smashing it out, and I have 10 ranked wins this season.
How about you, Dalatini, Linguini?
Fuck yeah.
I've been playing since season 4. I'm top laner for TBD. I'm 6'4". That's probably the only interesting thing about myself.
That's awesome. Can you dunk?
I can.
Nice.
But I
Yes.
haven't did it in a few years. Gained a few pounds over quarantine, so we don't know about that anymore. Yeah.
My brother's
Maybe.
a Marine, and he's all like, yo, I think if I remember, I'm pretty sure I'm 5'11". He's all like, yo, you're that tall and you don't dunk, you're useless. I'm like, okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's all they ever recruited me for sports teams was being big.
Yeah, it matters a lot. How about you, Vanek?
I'm not 6'4" at all. Kind of the opposite. And I
4'6"?
don't lock it down like Tim. I'm actually the worst player on the team. I don't know why I'm on this podcast.
But you wanted to be here. It doesn't. I think that
You're putting words in my mouth. So.
Oh,
Zach
you
is
didn't?
actually our best player.
I didn't realize we were putting heights, just so everyone knows. 6'2". 6'2". Okay, thank you.
60. Okay.
Vanek, what is your height?
We don't.
He said
It's-
opposite, so it's
Yeah,
4'6".
we have a good balance on
Average. It would be average.
All heights are welcome.
I have a
Average.
good accord. I have a good accord from the coach that he's 5'8".
I think an average height is 5'8", right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Wait, why does height matter though?
It's just
It's kind of the culture that the
it's
top
kind
laner
of-
creates.
It's kind of indicative of what other size you got going on. You know what I'm saying? So.
Jesus Christ.
He's talking about CS per minute, by the way.
Yeah, see,
Of course.
Yeah, of course,
yes,
of
yes.
course.
Yeah. That's why. Well, it varies a little bit because me and Tim are pretty equal CS.
That's
Yeah,
a lie.
Tim's around
No, wait a
Tim's around a good 8, I think. CS per minute.
I'm so
That
sorry.
was around
man.
like 6 or 7. Me, I'm sitting at like I think a 1 CS per minute. So
You can say that you kill people more. You can say that you better TPs, but my only thing I have is I CS perfectly.
Like
Yeah, I can't take that away from
you
him.
can't see us perfectly if you're support though, because then you're putting Nezu behind, which is kind of insane.
Dude,
Yeah, we put Zach on support intentionally for his height to CS ratio.
of course.
The support with the biggest CS, but the most losses in the team. He's all like, I don't understand why we lose. We have the support with the most CS in our team.
Exactly.
Unless it's like a switch, right? Like normally, you put like a Senna with a Pantheon or with a Veigar, with a Heimerdinger.
We've been
Then-
trying to get the Senna Pantheon in bot lane for weeks now. It just hasn't happened yet.
speaking of Heimerdinger, you're gonna want to remember that champion name. I'm just gonna say that now.
Oh, we've seen it. We've seen it a couple of times this week. Heimerdinger is so freaking good. I love how you could just leave him alone in lane no matter what role he plays. He could be an AD carry for a little bit.
Hell yeah. You can put him anywhere and he just fucks shit up. Those little turrets. God damn, he's so hot.
He's big brain too.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, tell me about y'all's season in the Texan language there. Tell me about y'all's season there.
Well, it's went pretty well so far, I'd say. I don't know what expectations we had coming into it, if any at all, really. We kind of just came in with a blank slate, didn't know exactly how well we'd do. And we hadn't really heard of many of the teams in any of the brackets, ours or the other divisions beforehand. So we kind of just came in with an open mind. And it's went way better than we expected. We had a few hiccups here and there. Dropped a game, had some games that were closer than we'd like, or that we couldn't finish out as clean as we like. Definitely had some people's expectations a little low for some of the split.
Especially me.
I'm not calling any names, but
No, but I know it was me. I know it was me.
but I feel like we've kind of brought it back in the later half of the split. Maybe change some people's minds about our team, and hopefully we can keep up that streak in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know for me, like I did have zero expectations. Like I didn't even know there were novice leagues. I was just kind of, a pleb who just played on like the ladder or whatever. But I was actually on the verge of like quitting League of Legends, but then a friend of mine's like, "Hey, I got this like gold plat team that wants to play in a league," and I was like, "All right, fine, I'll do it." But like this just completely reinvigorated me to play League of Legends because I hate this game. Like, don't get me wrong, like this game is so many hours of my life just wasted. And for the first time, I feel like I'm not wasting it as fast. I'll say it like that.
That's a very cynical way to look at it, but I have to agree that playing in this league has kind of re-inspired me to want to learn and like we get better at the game and practice. I've never practiced as much as I have in the like weeks coming up to this league and the weeks in between our games and stuff. And just like I feel like I've never learned as much as I have playing in this league. So yeah, I have to agree with that. It's really invigorated me again to have a passion for the game.
Yeah, this league forced me to play ranked, which I'm like super tilted about, by the way. So, because I never play ranked, and then I had to play like 80 fucking games. I'm super tilted by it.
Yeah, at the start of the season, our first game, we couldn't play with Vanek because he didn't have enough games played to like meet the requirements for the league. So he had to spam ranked games just to be able to play.
That's so. It's a good thing you guys went against Sacramento and it was also Fate 9 that was taking that spot, right? Like Fate 9 covered for you guys on the support and for the top lane.
Yeah, he's been clutch the whole season.
We don't talk about the top lane.
Well, what matters is that he was there when we needed to play.
Yeah.
But he actually is a really good. He's like the analyst for our org, or one of the analysts.
Oh, nice.
He's really good at analyzing gameplay and picking out points and stuff like that. But he has a like weird schedule, and it's erratic sometimes, and like stuff will come up right in the middle of him, his stage games. Like that's what happened that top game. He had some issues going on, but yeah, he's been clutch for us for the whole season. He's been there pretty much for every single sub position that we've needed him for.
So has he prepared you guys for playoffs so far? What?
So he's the analyst for our diamond team. He's not the analyst for our
okay.
our novice team. Yeah, I think for the most part, most of that's done by the coach, which is Parker, and then me.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't make that clear. He's like the analyst for the diamond team.
So you guys actually have a whole week off, as promised, right? We're in playoffs mode. You guys have whole round 1 off. The first game of the round 1 will be Team Cosmic going against Killshot Gaming, and this game is very, very interesting. Team Cosmic for Lunar Division, since you guys don't really have an analyst working in, and I don't know how much or how well you guys know Lunar. But as much as TBD did extremely well and Iceborne Winners Q did extremely well for their division, I think Team Cosmic is a team that should definitely be looked into. They are looking extremely strong in an overall perspective. This is the wildcard team that I think I was bringing about because I know you guys. I mean, you guys are definitely top 5, right? TBD, Iceborne Winners, Copenhagen, EQ, and Team Cosmic. Solar Phoenix is there, but I think Solar Phoenix might drop to Anarchy. That's what I think. That's what I'm already thinking already ahead of time. Hyper Lee is going against Anarchy on. I gotta check my. Oh my god, I can't check my Discord on my desktop because I have the Discord cutouts for you guys to show up here.
They're on Monday.
I'm pretty sure they're on Monday because like you have to the highest seed gets home advantage, right? So since they both play on Monday, then they would play on Monday, right?
At least what Deku said, it's Anarchy,
Oh
Magenta,
yeah,
Hyper League first.
Anarchy and Hyper on Monday. Tuesday is Team Cosmic and Killshot. Okay, so after Monday game, um, you know, I think Anarchy's definitely going to take that game over Hyper. Anarchy has been looking extremely good, and also not even just that, they come from the same division and they came up higher in standings. And it's really hard to say though, to be honest. Overall, I mean, games are no longer best of one; they're all best of five this time. So you guys should clearly look at the Tuesday game, which is Team Cosmic and Killshot Gaming, where I think Team Cosmic are gonna come out like very very strong.
I'm personally probably gonna watch every single playoff game since I know like what I'm looking for specifically. It'll be a lot more a good use of my time. So I'm just gonna like scout every single person.
Yeah. Our
And
I'm sorry, Finna. Go ahead.
you're good.
Our Zach Vanek, basically our team captain, he does a ton of research into the rest of the teams and all that list. I mean, this man has a dang Google sheet spreadsheet that's longer than my high school resume or my transcript with every single team, every single win thing, everything. But yeah, we've been doing a good bit of research into the rest of the teams, scouting out stuff. I did have a question I wanted to bring up about what you put for the rankings of top 5, though. You wouldn't put Anarchy Magenta anywhere in there?
They are a wild horse. They really are. It's just that Anarchy, even though they go up, I think they might end up between like 6th to 7th place.
Right.
Yeah. So like I know Team Cosmic, they like look decent. And even in my interview, I with you before, I told you that they looked really well.
Yeah.
But like in a like a best of 5, they have to play their macro like extremely well. And I think that's like their biggest thing is that their macro isn't like the best. Because like they play well in lanes, but sometimes they just don't know how to close out a game. Kind of like the Copenhagen Sirens game they played. Where they smashed them, but then it took them like 35 minutes to close out the game. And I think there'll be like a kind of like a toss-up matchup for Cosmic and Killshot because Killshot's like 50-50 if they want to show up or not.
I'm rooting for Killshot, but that's just because they come from our division.
Yeah, I feel like for the first few weeks, Killshot was like, or they were like looking like they were going to be a top 5 team of the division, top 3 team, like they were looking strong, but towards the middle of the split or the individual division splits, like before playoffs, they dropped a few games here and there, started looking a little less consistent, and I don't really know if like the first few games they played, they just played well. I'm not sure what happened, but it feels like they finished decently, but they lacked the consistency of like constantly being able to execute what they were going for. Whatever it was, whatever comp or strategy they were going for, some games they just struggled to execute it, and didn't exactly know what to do from behind.
Yeah, and then the like Anarchy matchup, like I think Anarchy will beat Hyper Elite. I think if Hyper Elite studies them though, they should be okay because I think they kind of have telltale signs of what they do. I think if we had a better circumstances for the game against them, like if I didn't play like absolute dog and then our top laner didn't have in real life circumstances during the game, we would have fared a lot better and maybe would have won. But and then I think Solar Phoenix will beat Anarchy because they're actually Solar Phoenix kind of destroys every game that they play with their full roster because like all their losses have been with subs. When their full rosters together, they haven't lost a game.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. Like, there's a few teams in the league, like Solar Phoenix and also us and a few other teams that with their full roster, they haven't dropped a game. And they may have a drop here or there, like with a sub. But one thing about Anarchy Magenta that concerns me is that they have swapped their team, like their members around a lot this season. I know they have had a few like org changes or like different name changes and stuff like that. But they've swapped their team run a lot, and they've played a lot of different stuff. And some of it is, I mean, arguably troll, but they've still won with it. And I'm not sure exactly going into playoffs whether or not they're going to like kind of stick to mainstream things and like work on a fundamental game plan, or they're going to try to pull out something unexpected to catch another team off guard.
I know for a fact that Solar Phoenix is a good team, but in a best of 5 kind of playoffs run, I think they're going to be easily read. I don't think Solar Phoenix, this is a personal thought from me. Maybe they can line things up for me in the general chat or on a DM or something. But what worries me a lot for most of the teams going to playoffs is how big the champion pool is, right? If you play with your hand straight off the bat, they're banning out your best champions straight out of game one. And if they beat you with those type of bans, they're just gonna do it again. And if they beat you again, they're gonna do it again, right? It's a rinse and repeat kind of process, kind of progress. And that's something I don't see with teams like Team Cosmic, Killshot, TBD, with Hyper, with Iceborne, Copenhagen, Pawn Sacrifice, and with EQ Storm. Those are the only teams I see that is able to adapt even when some of the best of their champion pools will be just taken away from them.
Yeah, I agree with that. And one thing I do want to note is for our first 6 games, either 6 or 8 games, I played Scion every single game. I didn't pick any other champion, and it never got banned. We just kept playing it, right? So
Yeah.
we've been lucky or fortunate, however you want to put it, to have not had to show many of our comps. We've really only played one style, maybe a game here or two. We played a different style, but we really only played one style of comp. The whole like in the meantime during the games, we practiced other comps. We've kept them like fresh and updated in case we had to pull them out. But we haven't been banned out of any of our like main comps so far. And going into playoffs, I haven't looked at what the other teams in Lunar, their most played comps are, but I'd be interested to see what they target ban against us, and what some of the other teams target ban, because there's been a few other teams from Eclipse that have played similarly to us where they've played the same comp over and over. And in a best of 1 game, you only have one opportunity to ban out a comp. But like you say, in the playoffs in a best of 5, if one comp works well 1 game, there's more games to ban that comp out. So I'm very interested to see what the other teams ban against us in the playoff.
Custom games don't come on your match histories or on your op.ggs, does it?
No, they don't.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. That means there's still chances to get more, to grow more on your champion pool, besides maybe leaks, scrim leaks. Oh no.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, we try not to play teams within the league so that they won't, I guess, figure out what we're trying to do or what we're trying to play. Because, I mean, at this level where it's like plat players, we can find like anyone. There's so many of them. We could just find any team that will be around the same skill level, and it's not really going to be a problem for us. We don't need to scrim like Iceborne to get better. We can scrim other plat teams. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, so, but to beat teams like Iceborne, it's more like you gotta surprise them, right?
We surprised them all right. We played with them in a norm. So
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we played against, yeah.
A couple nights ago, we jumped into PRL and played a normal with them.
Nice. That's cool. That's a good feeling. You guys probably owned it up in the normals too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it comes with team coordination. That's like the big difference competing here and in playing normals or ranked, playing with a bunch of, it's ranked solo and duel, not, ranked flex doesn't even count. Like,
they kind of made a meme of that.
Yeah. You guys could definitely beat diamond players in ranked flex, but, it's just so different. And since we're in playoffs mode already, like which I don't think I called out the whole schedule. So Monday at 7, we have Anarchy and Hyper. And then on Tuesday, I believe at 7 is Cosmic and Killshot. Then Wednesday, we have actually 2 teams coming in, which is Glacial and EQ Storm, and then Pawn and Go next. So between the two of those games, I'm honestly gonna prioritize watching Glacial Esports and Glacial Esports. That's their diamond team. Glacial Rising Eagles going against EQ Storm, because between those two teams, GE is definitely G and EQ are definitely looking like the best team to just watch at the moment here. Like EQ Storm, definitely phenomenal players and team that has been and we can't ignore that logic. They've been doing extremely well. They came hand to hand with Copenhagen. They came hand to hand with all of the top teams in their own division, much less of what Solo Division had. Like no one came hand to hand with you guys. No one came hand to hand with Iceborne Winners Q in their own division. These guys have, and now they're going against Glacial Rising Eagles, who once again they never went hand to hand with Iceborne Winners Q. But I gotta believe in Glacial Rising Eagles to see what they can pull out, what they can put in, in their playoffs run to show everyone what they really got. I mean, obviously, it's hard to judge any of these teams in a best of one format, but it's so much easier to see like champion pool and to see what's actually just been going for them so far.
Yeah.
I am very interested to see how the playoffs will like change the mindset, because internally, we have our own problems that we like address and stuff. And I think it'll be really interesting to see how like the playoffs and playing multiple games will like change decision making in the game, because there's some stuff on our team where like someone might be a little amped up or whatever, and it'll be interesting to see if it will like calm down a little bit.
Yeah, I have to agree with that, because in a best of one, you don't have any time to adapt and like use what you've learned playing off of the first game, because whoever wins the first game, it's over after that. But in a best of five, like you were saying earlier, adaptability is like very important, and being able to utilize what you learn off of your individual lane matchups, gameplay, just seeing what the other team does, how they position, how they posture for objectives, etc. And being able to utilize that in the games after that and use it to your advantage. That'll be something I think will be pretty important for our team and just in playoffs in general.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about the other side of the bracket that you were talking about, I think Glacial Rising has the advantage because EQ Storm, I watched most of their games and they look good, but they don't look like dominating. And their record, like most of Lunar's record and Eclipse's record, is kind of deceiving because they've had so many forfeits to give them free wins. Like I don't think EQ will beat Glacial. And honestly, I don't think anyone from Lunar will make it to the finals. Honestly.
Yeah, but staying on that topic of the other divisions, I spoke with you, I think maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, Madirai, about Copenhagen Sirens, like kind of dominating the first few weeks, but then they kind of fell off. And you had told me that you thought that they were starting to like show that they weren't one of the top teams, or that they were falling off a little bit from their throne. So, what are your opinions now of how they stack up in their bracket?
So right now, obviously, I think they went for common collective when playing through best of ones. I'm pretty sure they showed us that they can play like more than 24 different variety of champions. They tried the Draven jungle twice. It failed once. It worked the other time, but it was all best of one format. And the way I changed my mind now is that even though you guys say Lunar division, no one's gonna make it. I still think Copenhagen is one of the teams that is gonna make it. And in fact, I think no one from actually no. I think one of each division is gonna be in semis altogether, in conference finals, semifinals, however we're gonna call it. Well, it is a conference, right? Like there's TBD Esports at the top. There's Solar Phoenix bottom, Iceborne Winners Q, and then Copenhagen. So there's definitely I think it might just stay like that. Like the teams are in the round 2 right now, because they have the week off. Except for Solar Phoenix, I think Anarchy is gonna take their spot. So everyone's going to make it, one of each division, one of each of team in the division. If it doesn't happen like that, then honestly, it just gives us an entirely different perspective overall in the divisions. But Copenhagen Sirens, I think they fit in definitely to be playing in these playoffs run.
Yeah, I'm not saying they don't deserve to be here. I'm not saying they're a bad team. I'm just saying they probably won't make the finals because I think Pond Black will give them a big run for their money because I honestly think Pond Black is the best team in the Lunar Division. When they have their full roster and they're set, like they just looks really good. And I think the series between Copenhagen and Pond Black will go 3-2 either way. But I don't think either of those teams will beat Iceborne. So,
but from Copenhagen, I haven't even changed one bit of them. Obviously, at the start of the season, they did whatever they wanted to do, right? It was a best of one format, time to cheese some games. That's what they wanted to do. And in a best of five, I think they're going to adapt and they're going to change again. This time, it's all best of 5 games. That means we got to stomp them 3 games. And, they should have the knowledge that teams are going to adapt to their play style, but not mainly through the play style, but also through the drafts. And that's when Copenhagen Sirens are going to give us a little bit more of their true selves. So we haven't really absolutely seen Copenhagen Sirens with their true selves yet. I would say in the whole Lunar division, and they gave up some of their wins, but some of their wins were, they weren't even sad about them. First of all, right? They didn't be like, oh yeah, we played to our hardest and we lost, so that's something we're looking into. They laughed about it, right? They're like, oh, Draven jungle is still better than any other jungle out there, like that's such a troll thing to say, right? Like there's no way Draven jungle is better than like or even Rengar jungle, right? Rengar jungle will probably just delete Draven jungle in a counter matchup. But obviously you don't draft Draven or Rengar in a competitive sense.
I don't know. Anarchy Magenta drafted Quinn top and
oh, that was by accident. That was by accident.
Oh, was that by accident?
Yeah, yeah.
they didn't actually mean to pick that.
Yeah, because someone hovered over Quinn for the fuck of it, right? And one of the guys, he had a little bit of internet connection issue with Discord, and he was saying not Quinn, not Quinn, not Quinn. So the word that was cut out was not. And the word that wasn't was Quinn. So all they heard was Quinn. It was all like, okay, I guess we're locking in Quinn. I mean, they hovered over it for no reason, just to fuck with them.
I just thought they were BMing Sacramento.
Yeah, I thought they were BMing.
No, when I heard the story, I was just laughing my ass off. I'm like, that is such an inconvenience, like.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did the same thing versus Sacramento. I think we picked like a Mumu top and like Fiora bot with Senna. So.
You told me about that game. Oh no, Curry did.
It's nowhere near as troll as what they did, but
ours was also a comms mistake too, for sure.
The one thing that frustrates me about Sacramento is whenever we would play them, I think our first game against them was streamed, if I remember.
Yes.
But like we would. Okay, I know you never brought me in for an interview because apparently I wasn't good enough.
Never good enough.
Never good enough. But like some of the non-stream games, I was destroying, and it was just like, oh well, Tim went like 13-0 with like 300 farm for 30 minutes on Ziggs.
Yeah,
but
I hate it.
What about the CS?
You're playing Ziggs. You didn't expect to get MVP that game, buddy.
I did. I doubled everyone's damage, dude. I had like 50k, and then. You're up there in that wet noodle fight, and you had 20k.
I hit Nasty Scion ults. What did you do?
Listen, hey, if you go and listen to some of those comms, he's like, should I Scion ulti? I'm like, yeah, do it. He's like, he's amazing Scion. It's like, we told him to do it.
I'm not exactly sure how I got so much credit for any of these games. I got put as like the player to watch for multiple weeks in a row. I literally just listened to what they do and didn't do it. I'm just a wet noodle on the top lane.
The funniest thing about that whole dynamic was like we literally found Scion for him like a week before the tournament happened. It's not like he's been playing Scion for years. It's like, yeah, I should try Scion. Yeah, sure, why not?
Story of our tournament run.
He's amazing. Daltini Linguini, whoa!
What a good call from Delatini Linguini.
Fucking
What a
tough.
good
genius.
He's a
He's
genius.
The brain, the bronze, the height.
Dude, what's
bronze.
wrong with you, man?
Oh boy.
The hyped up matches are always top lane. Like, winning top lane is so dramatically of a win. But in a sense of, you don't have to win top to win the game, right? You just need to hold it. Delatini just is not one of those players that we've seen just willing to just hold the lane itself. He just like, all right, I'm just gonna want to stomp this dude, and he does it, So we see it. So we see that. Wasn't there a fail gank when they tried to get you on the Mordekaiser, and you just ended up getting a double or something like that?
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
I don't even know.
And then you just won our MVP. I don't care what Alpha Tim's doing. He just won our MVP right there, like because of a fail gank. Yeah.
Like I said, Tim, you picked the pussy champion. You
It's
don't
true.
get MVP.
Yeah, I've never seen you 2v1 somebody like that. I guess that's what you gotta do.
I wouldn't even have been there because my macro is so solid.
I mean, Brian got a pentakill and he wasn't even interviewed, so.
Oh, that's true.
That is true.
Because Ryan was like, I gotta talk to him about Vanek.
Wait, was I don't think I was on there. I don't think I've ever touched.
Every time I was interviewed.
No, it was 100% you. It was 100%.
Yeah, every time I was interviewed, you're like, we gotta give it.
I was distinctly remember like, all right, it's my time to shine. I gotta talk to my boy Vanek. You son of a bitch.
I think I was a bit biased for Vanek. Me and Vanek, I like to think that we're good friends, but obviously I still keep my distance in a professional relationship, But Vanek is a great guy, so that's why I wanted to talk to him. And I haven't heard from him in a while, even though we did a one-on-one interview. So I want to post up possible winnings from round one. So I don't think you guys have ever done this because I forgot to copy and paste. So let me talk about. I actually couldn't name this right, but so I'll talk about round one of playoffs. So round one of playoffs, KSG versus TKO. I want to give this a 1 and 3 to TKO's favor. To Anarchy Magenta to Hyper Elite, I would like to think it will be a game 5s, but still, Anarchy Magenta are going to come up with a win on that one. For Glacial Rising Eagles and EQ Storm, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt for Glacial Rising Eagles. I strongly, I think I should stick to my gut with a 0, even though they are still going to put up a fight. And EQ Storm is going to get them with that 3-0. And then Pawn Sacrifice Black, still definitely in their favor with the 3. And then Go Next Gaming, with our previous conversation, I got to give it a 1. But that's not based on me, what I wanted to give, but based on our conversation before, unless you guys want me to change it right now.
No, I agree with. Well,
you can make your own.
I agree with like pretty much everybody that you have winning, but I feel like Team Cosmic and Killshot Gaming will be a lot closer than like it might seem. I think that depending on how Killshot Gaming plays, if they're able to stick to what has like worked for them, and they're able to utilize whatever their win con is for whatever comp they pick. I feel like it'll be a lot closer than it might be if they let any of those things like get out of hand, or they don't play to their win con, or any of the problems that they've struggled with throughout the split. Anarchy Magenta and Hyper Elite, since we've had like a lot of experience with both of those teams in our bracket, I would have to say Anarchy Magenta has that one 3-0. Hyper Elite, I feel like, had good moments in our split, but they also had some really glaring issues that were more exploitable than other teams. Like every team has some issues, but I just feel like some of the issues Hyper Elite had with their macro play and their map awareness kind of were more exploitable by a heavily focused micro team like Anarchy Magenta. So I have to give that one 3-0. Glacier Rising Eagles and EQ Storm. I don't really know about this one. I'm not familiar with either one of those teams very well, so I'll let Vanek talk about that. Pawn Sacrifice Black and Good Next Gaming, I have to give it to Pawn Sacrifice Black. I have to agree with Vanek too on that one. That Pawn Sacrifice Black is one of the best teams in the division on their full roster. We've watched a few of their games on stream as a team to analyze them, and they play really well. Macro, they pretty much cover all their bases in most of the situations they find themselves in, whether they're ahead or behind. So I'd have to give that one either 3 or 3-1.
Yeah, I think the EQ Storm and the Glacial game is kind of up in the air. I think either team can win it. I don't think EQ is like leaps and bounds better than Glacial, and I don't think Glacial's leaps and bounds better than Storm. So I think it'll be like an even matchup. Either way, I think it will go 3-2. But everything else, I agree with pretty much.
I am thinking that I think that Team Cosmic is actually like kind of a sleeper, because personally, I don't think that Killshot Gaming, if put in the other, if they had to play like Copenhagen Sirens and stuff, I don't think they would have a very good chance against them. So I think the Team Cosmic versus Killshot actually is going to be one-sided. I think Team Cosmic's going to 3-0 them.
Ooh, okay, Tim.
I don't know. Just I heard all of a lot of good things about Killshot, but from playing them, I honestly they weren't even on my radar at all. Like in our division, I literally was just like everybody else, Anarchy, Echo, whatever their name was. It was just them, and then I literally couldn't tell you anything about anybody else in our entire division. So, I mean, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong, because like personally, I'd rather go up against Killshot again than Team Cosmic, just because we know them. But
yeah, I think it just depends on what Killshot Gaming shows up. I guess if they don't show up, they'll just hard lose.
I think an interesting match for round 2 will be whoever wins between Glacial Rising Eagles and EQ Storm going up against Iceborne Winners Queue, because both of those teams are relatively strong. Neither one of them are bottom of the pack teams from their divisions. I mean, EQ Storm's record might not be as well as far as in the playoffs. I mean, they're 10th seed, but I still feel like they're a strong team, and whoever wins that team could have a big upset against Iceborne and Winners Queue. Especially if it's EQ Storm. I feel like EQ Storm has a pretty decent chance to upset Iceborne Winners Queue, simply because being from the same division, they have experience playing against them. And whereas Glacial Rising Eagles, are they also from Eclipse, or where are they from?
They're from Eclipse, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I guess either team would have experience. So I feel like that'll be an interesting matchup, whoever wins that.
The last time we saw Glacial Rising Eagles, they were actually doing extremely well. They actually snuck into getting to playoffs recently, while EQ Storm, they were holding the fort, but instead they actually went, at the end, I think they went 0-2? Let me check.
So Rising Eagles came into playoffs on a win streak, and EQ Storm were holding it off to get to playoffs.
Yeah, let me see. EQ won 1 and lost 1. And then lost 2, and so they came off, unconventionally. Caustic Gaming, they just, everyone already saw in the Lunar division that it was like, okay, for EQ Storm, they just need to win 1. If there was one game to be like, oh, this is their win for sure, would be against Caustic Gaming, but they lost to Pawn Sacrifice Black, and then they lost to Copenhagen Sirens, and then obviously they beat Caustic Gaming. So EQ Storm, they lost to some of the best teams, including one team, which is Pawn Sacrifice Black, that is also in the 4th seat. So they lost to even one of the weaker teams in the division. It could be a strategy to lose though because they've already locked it in, but they did suffer, you know, their position. They lost their second spot during in that kind of hole, just trying to just focus on making it to playoffs first, and then we'll discuss strategy. So
Yeah, I guess that could be a strategy, but just I mean, and there's a viable chance that that's what they were doing. But just from our team's perspective, we were doing everything we could to secure that number one seed spot. I mean, we weren't even interested in dropping any games for trying to get to playoffs, Um, and I'd hope that every single team would be trying to get the highest seed they could. But I guess it is a strategy to drop a few games to secure playoff spots.
yeah, like showing up the hand, like I said before, where normally Solar Phoenix does, it's really important not to show your cards all out on the front there. But now for the round two predictions of the playoffs, uh, between TBD and TKO, I think it's gonna be a 3-2 in favor for TBD. Solar Phoenix, they're only gonna take one, and then Anarchy Magenta 3. Iceborne Winners Q are gonna take 3 over EQ Storms 2. Copenhagen Sirens are also going to take a 3 over Pawn Sacrifice Blacks 2 as well.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah, Pawn Sacrifice Black losing this time.
So here with TBD and TKO, this game, I think it's going to be a lot of momentum. Like what we saw for an example between your game and Hyper Elite. You guys have has a slow start. Like there's no doubt about that. But when Hyper Elite were picking up the pace, they were getting to positions, they were looking for ganks, they were looking for team fights. Like they were doing things suddenly. But the thing is that as patient you guys play it, you guys have a lot of control on the map by vision, and you guys are playing by eyes and ears. So the moment someone makes a move, you guys are already making your move as well. So, I thought for a little bit of me thought that I'm wondering to see how TBD reacts to sudden engagement or sudden transitioning or rotating on the map. And you guys did extremely well to counter all of it. So TKO, they're going to be looking to do a lot of that map control. So it's going to be a tough one, right? They have like they're sweeping. They sweep the map pretty damn well. They buy control wards pretty damn well and use a lot of defensive, acts. And as defensive as they put in their own acts, I mean, they will also get like one or two wards, but not necessarily you need both of them at the opposites of the map, right? You just need is one on one specific cap or one specific route that, just to see what side jungle may be or whatever, right? That's what normally they go and give and take on. So this one, it's a 3-2 because it's going to be a lot of map control. For Solar Phoenix and Anarchy Magenta, Solar Phoenix, I think they're going to play all that they got in their arsenal in their first game and win it. And then Anarchy is going to ban that arsenal for the rest of the entire game, and Anarchy is going to beat them 3-1 because of that. For Iceborne Winners Q and EQ Storm, I think there's such EQ Storm had always been a jungle and bot gap because of auto on the support, but for Iceborne Winners Q, they've always been also a bot and jungle gap with Towel Dog and with Ibion Godly. So that game is going to be about who drafts the better support and who drafts the most aggressive jungler, which also helps out support without falling off at the end. But they also have like top laners are pretty insane too. So, which I had to look back on that roster actually real quick. So, for EQ Storm's top laner, they have Elusive, which Elusive has been pretty much off the radar, but he's been doing what he needs to do as a player. And for Iceborne Winners Q, I mean, Neon Fire has also been under the radar, but his Maokai is pretty damn insane. Not sure they will ban the Maokai or not, but it's pretty good. T-Fed occasionally comes up on the spot, and Chancellor Lemon as well. So it's a bit of about the same thing, to be honest, with these two teams. They play relatively that way. And for me, 3-2, it could have went either way for both of those teams. And then for Copenhagen Sirens and Pawn Sacrifice Black, I mean, that one is gonna be a fest of, I guess, who has the most kills. Not really much of gold lead, but who's been winning like scrimmages overall.
That's interesting. I would put Copenhagen Sirens and Pawn Sacrifice Black a whole lot closer. Or really, I would give the favor to Pawn Sacrifice Black. I mean, the Copenhagen Sirens, they seem to have like their play style seems to revolve around like invading or moving with multiple people and getting early game advantage, and then using that to like set up picks and set up like different things around the map. But Pawn Sacrifice Black have like extremely good macro, like I was talking about earlier. I feel like they're able to cover themselves in any position that they're put in relatively well. And I feel like that'll be something that combats the Sirens playstyle pretty well. So I think that'll be an interesting match. But I agree with most of the rest of the stuff. I think that the game against Iceborne Winners Queue will be like kind of how you said with the top or the jungle support gap. But Iceborne Winners Queue, like Towel Dog, plays like a really, really good Olaf, but that's been something that he's repetitively played. So I think that whichever Storm or Glacial Rising Eagles, whichever team comes out on top, could put some pressure on Iceborne Winners Queue by banning away Caitlyn, by banning away Olaf, and maybe another jungle pick.
Karma.
Yeah, and then picking something for themselves that they've been strong on if it doesn't get banned. The rest of everything I'd agree with.
So about like our matchup versus possibly Cosmic, I think when we watch their game, we'll learn a lot more about them, and it'll be a lot easier for us to take them on. I think it won't be as close as 3-2. Like honestly, I think it might be 3-1 in our favor, but we'll see. I think Solar Phoenix can beat Anarchy. I don't like I said, I think Anarchy, if studied, they have glaring weaknesses like in their draft. And I think Solar has really good drafts and play really well when they have their full team, which I'm sure they'll have their full team for playoffs.
I hope so.
Iceborne Winners Queue, I'm pretty sure will just stomp, honestly, whoever team they play. They get leads through jungle and sometimes bot, but I don't think that either team that's below them can face Towel Dog in a 1v1 as a head-to-head, like trying to match jungle pressure. So I don't think it'll be that close. Like if they take a game, it'll probably just be one game, not two. And I don't think Copenhagen Sirens, I don't know. It's up in the air. Pawn Sacrifice can win that matchup. It just depends on how much they prepare for it.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. A majority of like what I've seen from Towel Dog early, a lot of the time the way he gets his leads is by invading with either like top or bot or mid, like getting prio somewhere and invading with one of the lanes to like put pressure on the enemy jungler, and gets a lot of kills and denies a lot of vision and camps early, which puts like the enemy jungler behind, and he repetitively keeps up the pressure throughout the early to mid game on the enemy jungler, which puts the entire team behind as a whole. So I think whatever team plays Iceborne Winners Queue like throughout the length of playoffs will have to find a way to combat that early game jungle pressure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only game that you can actually like maybe you look at for Iceborne Winners Queue to learn from would be the game they played against Glacial Rising, where it was pretty even for a bit. But I think that was just because Tal'Dog couldn't really do much because he was on Rek'Sai, and it was a huge draft difference because like Rek'Sai really can't do anything against Morgana and Caitlyn. It's just really difficult to do because like Morgana will just bind you or Black Shield whoever you're trying to go in on. So Caitlyn will just E or trap you. So I don't know. I think if you maybe get him on the similar champion like Rek'Sai, and then draft around it, and just make sure your side lanes don't get behind. You should be able to beat them, but I don't think they're going to be able to really corner Iceborns that easily.
How about you, Tim? What do you think? What are you thinking, Tim?
I mean,
He's the intellectual of our team.
Yeah,
He's
I
just
know.
sitting back thinking about it.
I honestly think that all of the top teams are gonna I think that the top 4 seeds are all gonna level up going into playoffs. So if I had to bet money on it, I don't think a single team that's in the first round is gonna beat any of the top seeds. The only one that I can possibly think is I think Pawn Sacrifice might beat Copenhagen Sirens, but I don't think they're going to. But yeah, I don't think anyone on the lower part is going to get past one of their higher seeded counterparts. So I think the semifinals are just going to be TBD Solar Phoenix, Iceborne Winners Q versus Copenhagen Sirens, and then after that, I don't know.
He didn't have enough time to think that far in the bracket.
You're right.
That's okay. Just pull out a notepad. If you want to come back to us anytime soon, or any actually moment that we just talked about, just come up with your own who gets to come out round 1, who gets to be in round 2, and then come out in round 2. But right now for round 3, from what I am already predicting, which I will not change, so it'll be kind of hard for me to do the liftoff every single day. But for round 3, it's TBD versus Anarchy Magenta. What do you guys personally feel about how that's gonna go down? This is conference finals, heading into grand finals. So what do you guys personally feel? Are you guys feeling like they're gonna come out above you guys here in the semis? In this little simulator, or are you gonna put them down?
I feel like so we played each team in our bracket twice in the original split, right? And the first time we played Anarchy Magenta, and I'm only speaking just from my personal experience top lane and how I affected the game versus their top laner, which is this name still Lord Vlad Tepish, or did he change it?
Change.
Okay.
Yeah. Still Lord Vlad.
Okay. Well, the first game that we played against them, I personally felt like he did a lot of things top lane that I wasn't ready for. I had not experienced them, the level of aggression that he played, and how he managed the wave. I didn't understand really how to break the freeze that he put on me and how to just combat some of the stuff he was doing. But since then, throughout the other games we played and as the practice we've done as a team, I wouldn't let some of the stuff happen like that again top lane. And then for the rest of the game, how it played out, we ended up winning that game through our other lanes that had already won, and jungle. So I feel like our other lanes already have experience against their laners as well. And I feel like we know a lot of the drafts and problems that they have in draft, and that our draft is normally really strong, and I think that's one advantage we'll have over them. The second game that we played against them throughout the split, we had the sub top that had some IRL problems, and I can't really speak on that game since I wasn't playing in it. I had some stuff that caused me to not be able to play. But from what I understand in that game, the combination of the problems we have in top lane and some other mistakes that we made early, bot and jungle, we got behind. So I think that we've played against them and have a lot of experience in how they've beaten us before, and we shouldn't let that happen again.
Yeah, I mean, it was really unfortunate the second game. Stuff we couldn't really control, and some stuff we could, but their top laner is their best player, and if we play around him appropriately, we should just be able to win the game, honestly, because unfortunately what happened circumstance wise for that game, their top laner literally just got uber fed, and it was super hard while I was making mistakes bot, and their bot got ahead as well. So it was just kind of It was a tough game, but we will not let that happen again, honestly.
Also, when it comes to our team, one of our biggest, at least one of our like things we should work on is like prep work before a match. And I know, like, I'll be honest, with during the season, since we were just kind of like beating teams based on like, you know, we had some better macro and then just like team fighting, we were a lot more skilled at that. I think that's clear in a couple of our comeback wins. But because it's playoffs and the seriousness of the atmosphere is going up, I think that due to it being a single team, it'll snap the whole team into being way more prepared. And I think that's going to actually make TBD look completely different. I think we're going to be way more prepared and stronger early. And then obviously we'll maintain the team fight skill. So I think that playoffs are going to shore up some of our weaknesses.
Okay. So, would it be a close game though? What do you what are
I
you
don't
guys thinking?
I feel like against Anarchy Magenta, after like because we would face them in round 3. So after them having played against 2 teams and us having analyzed those games and seeing how they play and having a lot of experience against them through our league, I feel like I don't want to sound cocky, but I feel like we would either 3-1 them or 3-0 them. And I could be wrong. They could surprise us, but we like in playoffs specifically, we already touched on this, so I'm not going to go back into it. But adaptability is very important, and one of our greatest strengths, and one of the reasons why our early game normally is slower, and we could like start to ramp up mid to late game, is that we have to adapt to how the team plays, what they're doing, and normally by the mid to late game, we start to understand what we should be doing, how we should be playing against them, and that's only going to like add to our effectiveness in playoffs. Having multiple games, much more time to analyze the opponent and see how they play. And I mean, that also lends to a weakness to us where if a team drastically changes how they play from game to game, it could struggle for us to adapt to it. But that also makes them less confident and less experienced at what they're playing. So I think that it would either be a 3-1 or 3-0. If Anarchy Magenta is able to get out of the first 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't want to sound like too cocky against them because, like he said, they could surprise us. But like, I don't think it will be like a super close series. I think a super close series would involve Solar Phoenix. Honestly, I think they're just a better team than Anarchy.
Yeah, I guess like from what we've been looking at and what we've been trying to predict and prepare for, we were less like looking to prepare for Anarchy Magenta, and we were more looking to prepare for some of the other teams. We feel like some of the other teams, the style that they play in and the strengths and weaknesses they have will give us a lot more trouble than the ones of Anarchy Magenta, such as Iceborne Winners Q, Pawn Sacrifice Black, teams like that. We're looking to prepare the most against.
So this is where I believe I told you guys like you guys are like in my top 5, right? So that's where my predictions would be for top 5 players for top 5 teams or top 7 teams. So you guys obviously if you guys make it around 3, you guys are already in that top 4 selection. You know, EQ Storm will fall, you know, Pawn Sacrifice Black will fall, and so will TKO. So that's where I would put like EQ on the 6, Pawn Sacrifice on the 7, and then a TKO on the 8th. And then Anarchy, I mean, yeah, they fall to you guys. They're 4th. But the way I have the finals, I mean, there's really only 2 ways it's going to be, right? It's either going to be TBD versus Copenhagen's finals, TBD versus Iceborne Winners finals, or Anarchy, same thing as well, like going against Ice or Copenhagen, or Copenhagen going against TBD Anarchy. It's just going to be a whole selection of the whole variety of what is it, like eight varieties of the possible finals and placements.
Yeah.
So, but what I do have and expectations of how all of the teams perform and how they've been performing. If any of my predictions are wrong, then that's great. That means they pretty much outperform and outscaled expectations. and it just leaving more into the I like to lean more into the unknown of things, right? Like, imagine if this was right, it wouldn't be any fun, because we already knew how it's going to go down. But I still want to lean into the unknown to what the possibilities are for the whole entire playoffs run. I know it's going to be amazing, though. This is our first time doing the Novice League, and it's going to be exactly just how we do it in the Academy. Obviously, sometime down the road, I want to make Academy a little bit more special than Novice just because of the higher ELO range, but still, um, you know, still give the Novice League a lot of something regardless of that, right? Like, regardless of what's better or not. It's kind of like Academy in LCS and LCS, right? There's always a difference somewhere. So, but it still doesn't feel even all that different at all. Like, a little bit of perks here and a little bit of perks not there. But
Yeah, yeah, I have to agree with what you're saying about the unknown. Like, as much as we've analyzed each matchup and like made our predictions and like who we think based off different stuff, I would love for like everything I've said to be wrong, except us winning. Of course, I'm not going to jinx ourselves, but I would love for everything else I said to be wrong, and we just like come out third round playing against a completely unexpected team. I mean, that would just be a much more interesting thing because everybody loves the underdog story. I mean, you always want the person.
Hell yeah,
low
dude. Go next wins
Yeah.
finals.
Yeah, go next, man. I hope we're playing go next in the very very finals, grand finals. Although I would like to run against some of the teams that we played against in our own bracket in playoffs, just so we can kind of have especially Anarchy Magenta, so we can have a consolation match to kind of run it back, since that's the only team that we're 1-1 against. All the other teams were 2-0. So I'd like to have that tiebreaker match.
in a best of 5 this time, huh?
Right.
So, what do you guys think? This is a personal question. What do you guys think that makes a champion so far? What do you think will take to become a champion in the league?
I think to become a champion in this league, you have to just come out quick. I think that's the one thing about our team is, like, with our slow starts, like, that's the one thing that we work on like the most off stream, is just getting in that mindset early, because throughout the whole entire regular season, since we I've already touched on this, since we were like beating people with like just raw skill, I do think we got a little
complacent.
Yeah, complacent and relaxed, and I just want to make sure that that's like ironed out going into playoffs. And I am happy that we get to play someone like Cosmic or Killshot, whichever, early, because the one thing I was worried about is if like we didn't get like a super high top seed, that we would have to play someone like Pawn Sacrifice Black like immediately, and then that would like perhaps catch us off guard if we weren't prepared for how like intense it would be right off the bat. But I do think that we grasp the severity of the situation, and we'll be prepared to go in. It's like that, if we can get out of that first like 10 minutes and we're not like 5k gold behind, we'll probably win the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a weakness that we need to work on. But I mean, to answer the question, like what you need to be a champion in this league, I feel like the main thing that will set any one or two teams apart from the rest is just how much effort they put into constantly making sure every single thing they do in a game is right, and they're not making mistakes. Like at this elo range and this caliber of player, it's less, in my opinion, about like a team is less focused on what they are doing right. I mean, obviously they're focused on that, but they're more focused on exploiting the mistakes of the enemy. So the less mistakes that an enemy team makes, I feel like the better off that they'll do. Like the winning team, in my opinion, will be the one that makes the least mistakes and capitalizes on the most of the enemy team's mistakes.
Yeah, and I believe that is all that I have. I mean, we didn't have to go over week 7. We didn't have to go over week 5, 6. I mean, the regular season of the Novice League has already ended. We are now in playoffs mode. I mean, get your notepads out, bring a Vanek with you, start analyzing the games as we go and move up. You guys enjoy your 1 week off. Not sure what you guys are going to use your 1 week off on, but whatever
It's
it is,
hardly it's hardly a week off. Our slave driver of a team captain over here has already scheduled 7 practices, 3 scrims.
That's crazy. You're not gonna let them go and like stand at a beach somewhere and just have a
He's
nice breath of.
joking.
Oh, okay.
He's joking.
Dude, my name was Ginger. You think I like the beach or the sun? Are you kidding? Like, I play League of Legends for fun.
For fun.
Like make your beds every morning.
No, we don't get any time off. He messages us 24 hours a day, reminding us to keep at least 8 CS a minute and to pink ward the enemy push.
8 CS a minute. That's actually horrible.
I know. It's exactly what a solar team would have. If we were a lunar team, we'd have 10 CS a minute.
Yeah, if we were a lunar team, we would just I don't know. I don't even know. We would be like 28. No, we would have broke the wins.
At 8 CS a minute, by 10, you're down by 20. Like, and then it's just gonna continue on, and oh no, like
it's a reasonable goal for a solar team like us.
Yeah, trash solar team.
Okay, so conclusions. What do you guys think so far right now? I mean, as an ending to your own podcast here for yourselves.
Can we bring up one point?
All right, before you say anything, I'm gonna say something wholesome.
Okay.
I'm just having so much fun. Like this entire thing, like the production quality, like I don't even care the level of competition, but like I've always wanted to play in a league like this. It just I never put in like the effort to get super high rank to get like, do anything. But like I'm just having such a fun amount of time. And no matter what happens, I'm just so happy that we played in this league.
Well, just forget about whatever I was going to say. You already put it on the ending note. I have to agree with Tim though. I never like foresaw myself playing in a competitive like manner. I only joined the team like 3 weeks before the tournament. But it completely changed my mind about playing in like a semi-competitive environment. It's just I can't believe the entire experience as a whole for the players. Because I've been on the other end. I don't know if you remember Aether Esports that
Yes,
played
I
in
do.
PRL 2 years or 1 or 2 years ago. But my friend was the mid laner for that team, and I watched all their games from the perspective of a viewer. But honestly, the experience from the perspective of a player is just 10 out of 10. I admire the entire PRL staff and all of y'all that are producing it each week. Just from the perspective of a player, it's been unforgettable experience.
Yeah, I mean, fucking PRL, am I right? Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
it's always the one that has to ruin the mood.
No, he didn't ruin it.
Fuck the mood. I mean, it's dope, I haven't really. I mean, I've been in tournaments, but I haven't been like I guess in a production quality tournament before. It's pretty cool. The only thing I could say on your guys' part, you got to get sanctioned by Riot, yo.
Sanctioned by Riot. We will one day. We will one day.
So you can get them people their Triumphant Rise skins when they win.
Triumphant Rise.
Oh, yeah, and then with RP and skin giveaways, and I actually don't know how that works.
Well, I mean, if you guys, if PRL average is 75 viewers, you can actually apply for the League Partner Program.
I think
we
probably
have.
Average that,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure when good news comes out or when it's given to us, we'll present it in the announcements. Pretty
Fuck
sure.
yeah.
Heck yeah.
But I am looking to further improve what we do on the production. Obviously, it's just me, so give me some time to do everything. I know
I think you do a great job.
I know some couple people ask me what the team is like, and it's just I actually don't have a team. Like, I do have friends though. I have one friend who's a really good programmer. And I met him in my college years, and I don't know. We had a hitch. We had a lot of fun. It was not easy to make friends. I mean, it wasn't too hard to make friends with him, and with my other 3 classmates, because there was literally only 4 or 5 of us in the program that we did for web development, Adobe, not After Effects, but Adobe, Flash, working on animations, doing Photoshop and video work, and I learned a lot from that. I think the most thing I've ever really loved to do was the web design. Like, there's so many things. I did a lot of programming, but I always messed it up. So he would always take care of it, but he just didn't have an idea where to put what, where to put where into what, and how to align it. And I always just came up with creative ideas and to do that. And everything that you see on broadcast, believe it or not, I mean, most of it, and I would say maybe about 93% of it is all on OBS alone. So,
Well,
so it's
yeah,
it's pretty
I
cool.
think I think y'all's website's really clean. I know it's not finished yet, and y'all still have stuff that you're like putting on it, but it looks really good and it's smooth as well. Like all the stuff, the magazine posts. I mean, it would be cool to see like an integrated magazine post on the website. But
Yes.
regardless of that, I mean, everything else is clean.
I know we haven't talked about it too much, but we are currently working on the website even now secretly because it's done by
Secretly.
by secretly I mean like it's there but it's hidden because it's super weird. Normally for websites you can publish one page at a time to update. In this one, when you publish, it's publishing everything. So we had to hide some pages. We had to keep some hidden pages that we're working on, being published, but of course it won't show up. There's no way to find a link to it either. Obviously, we have to change the domain to like a bunch of, encoded numbers on it and lettering, so that way you can't find it. But it's all into progress. I really, really want to change how the website looks, because I know a lot of like a lot of basis is on the website, how it looks, how it's functioning, the YouTube, the Twitter, just some of the basic grounds there. But mainly we want to focus on Twitch, the Discord, and of course, the content that we bring out in those magazines. I think the magazines are doing great. Uh,
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of them. At first, whenever y'all like released them, I didn't know like what to expect because I was like magazines for Novice League because nobody does that, but they actually turned out really well.
Yeah, and it's great though because people like you guys that love PRL, maybe one of you might just volunteer to do it, and bam, like we have something for everyone.
Hey
Uh,
man, I can cast for you guys.
I don't know if you remember, I
wait on.
casted one game a long time ago.
Yeah, no, I wasn't there. I started since what was it? I think it started since June or August. In fact, I wasn't even given a chance when I first came into PRL. I didn't get a chance though because when I first came in to work, I was like so excited. I'm like, oh my god, I want to cast. I want to cast because I haven't casted for a year actually because I did what I've been doing about 3 years ago now, and a year in progress, and then ended. I went to go do other jobs outside. Bought a new computer, all set. $2,400 computer. Uh, you know, which is running really really well. And then when I came back into the scene, PRO was the first thing I saw, and I was like, okay, I want to be in here. But obviously, there has been other casters. There was another producer involved, and I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. I'll be like, you know what? If I'm given the chance, I'll just wait until that happens. And my chance was given to me when people, I know mostly on the casting side, people come in when the hype's there, right? When the hype's there, when the viewers are pure and new and whatever, right? Like everything's kind of fresh. And then after they do their thing, they go somewhere else. That's normally how it goes, right? For freelancers out there, which is good. But for me, I mean, I've never thought of myself as a freelancer. I mean, I did eventually put myself as a freelancer, but any league I get into, I stay. Like I just don't have the thought in me to be like, okay, I'm getting ready to leave now. You know what I mean? Like it just never comes to mind. It's just, oh, I'm casting here, I guess I'm staying here, right? And that's how I ended up, to be honest. Like that's how I've been in it for more than a year. And what does my subscribers say? I think a year and 3 months. So I've never left, never even
Yeah.
thought of leaving even once.
I mean, I know you said that a lot of casters and stuff that freelance to go from one to another, but I really think that if more casters and more production associates would stay with one league or another, they could have higher production quality, such as what PRL has. Because I think that having someone like you yourself who stays with one league, they can put a lot more of their time and effort into making the production for that league better versus someone that's only coming in for a little bit and planning on leaving right after the job's done.
Yeah, I think so. I actually never thought of it that way. That's pretty cool. So I guess that's why what I do is so much different, right? Because you don't see it anywhere else. You only see
Yeah.
it wherever I'm at, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we have a small family business that I work in, and that's kind of the mentality I have at it, where it's like, this is our business. It's not just somewhere I'm working for. So every single thing I put out the door has to be of the highest quality, and that feels like what PRL does.
All right. So with that, Vanek, Delatini, Alpha Tim, whole TBD squad in both Academy and Novice. Obviously, the Academy's not looking so good, but I cannot judge Academy side for TBD because
They
the
exploded.
well,
The team
well,
exploded.
it's not even that. Like Academy is so hard right now. There's so many veteran teams. Like you kind of have to be a veteran team of yourselves to compete, right? And
Yeah,
that gets really hard. You're coming in where teams has been here for like almost a year or actually maybe even a year, right? Always coming back. So you're coming in as a fresh team, maybe as a fresh team or maybe a team that was developed like a month ago, but you're going against people that have been like in development together for more than 13 14 months together. So it's kind of it's a whole different ball game there, which is pretty cool though, because the people that come in, we notice them for sure.
yeah. We're looking to hopefully in the future be able to, as a team, improve our solo queue ranks to qualify for some of the academy tournaments. Hopefully in the future, that'd be something that we're looking to do. I think we are going to try to look to play in the next novice tournament as well, though, to get some more experience and just as a team, because we've enjoyed playing in this tournament as a whole. So we'd like to play in the next one as well. Hopefully, some academy tournaments down the line.
I think the most important thing for me personally, when I see in players, is like I hope they stay long enough to also grow the organization. You know, like as organizations, I've seen teams where they come in hot, right? They come in hot with big banger of a games and whatever. They're doing great, they're looking great, and then they lose, and then all of a sudden, new team name, new team logo. There's a couple of players here that we've known. There's a couple of players there that we've known. You know what I mean? Like it's just sort of they looked great in one season, but they didn't come back together in the other, right? And
Yeah,
that's a that kind of progression. It's taking steps backwards and forward, right? And I think that's what you know some of the things that do happen here, which it sucks, it happens. Few of the moment, living the life the way it is, but I still have hopes that a lot of teams just stick together. And there's been teams that have been doing that more recently, and it's amazing to see. It really is. Like, and I love it.
yeah. That's one thing that we were trying to focus on was after we got our first loss. Because whenever we didn't really expect to go on like a undefeated streak.
Yeah.
I mean, we're obviously glad for it, but we didn't expect that. So we felt a little extra pressure at first, having that streak on our back, and we wanted to make sure that we understood that losing a game, dropping the streak, having a bad game here or there wouldn't negatively affect our team as a whole. And I think we did a pretty good job of not letting any of our setbacks kind of have something like what you were talking about happen to our team.
Yeah, 13-1. I mean, was there anyone else that did that? Let me see.
I don't know if Iceborne finished 13-1 or
No.
12-2.
No,
They
you
finished 12-2.
guys are the pinnacle of your record over everyone else. Everyone else 12-2. Like you guys definitely as a team, as a whole, even though you do lose your playoffs run early, you guys were the pinnacle in the regular season of it all. Anyways. So now from there on is just further improvement, right? You take the loss, whatever, but it's playoffs, right? It's always a lot different from regular season to playoffs when you step in.
Yep.
Vanek, Alpha Tim, do you guys got? Oh wait, Alpha Tim, we already got yours. How about you, Vanek? Your conclusion.
Oh, wait, what?
Or did you already give yours?
I thought I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, PRL. That was
Oh,
pretty
that
much
was it? No way.
I'm telling you, he's always killing the mood.
He did kill the mood. I thought he was gonna say more than that. Aw.
I mean, I don't really know what else to say. You know, I'm just
Man of
happy
few
to be here. I'm happy to play with my team, and I'm happy that we're 13-1, and we're excited to see what playoffs hold for us. So,
All right. So once again, to the whole TPD, organization, thank you guys so much. To Haha Funny Man, Rogue Energy at with the code PRL Rogue, with Jasper George at jasper-george.com, to Alpha Tim Delatino Linguini, to Vanek at Dome Vanek on Twitter, which I just noticed you have a Twitter account now. Get ready to meet my DMs, dude. To be a lot of cat videos or something. I don't know.
fuck yeah.
We'll see what I can come up with. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for joining me here today on the podcast. The hour is 1:20 with 1:26. That means I can upload. All right, let's do this. I can upload before our games tonight. Thank you guys so much to all of our viewers out there. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to watch the podcast and everything. And if anyone has any conclusions of their own or any predictions of their own for the rounds and how they might go, honestly, put it in my office on banter or on general. However you feel, let's see it. I mean, I want to see what other people come in with their own conclusion or their own predictions of playoffs runs. So with that, thank you all so much. To those that know what I do, I will see you all every night that there's a game, obviously, as a broadcaster and the production guy and occasionally casting. I actually do cast tonight. Holy crap. Anyways, thank you all so much. We'll see you all again in the later. Have a good one.